Headline, he's back! And ladies and gentlemen, has he created quite the headlines with his unexpected return to BYW and the company where he started it all, and he's helped change the game. Breakdown 7. What a way to kick off that historic Breakdown 7, where we saw his triumphant return to the ring, where he also spoke about what he's been chasing and what he wants, and that's that YBW championship. But apparently, it's not quite Dominic that's in the way just yet. It's who we thought was his best friend. His best friend that made up one half of one of the premier teams around in the Golden Guns. And we heard from the MC of the 1-2-3, Mr. 357 himself, now the Dark Model 1 Magnum Carter. And he said some things that all of us were taken aback. This was a man who we considered a role model, but instead said things that, I'm going to get our guest's opinion on. And certainly we're going to get into what is at stake here. Anarchy Sanctum 5, which is now in just over 30 days from now. And we're going to see what would apparently be a match between the best friends. Forget about the Mega Powers going in action. We're going to see the Golden Guns, and what does this mean for the future of the Golden Guns? And especially because of that championship shot on the line. Dominic has certainly been being Dominic. I'm going to talk about Dominic with our guest. I'm also going to talk about this hit marker that, well, he got marked for a hit from our guest, his best friend. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about plenty of other things, and maybe another company with 3 initials. No, not that company. That was yesterday's show. But another company that our guest is a part of that looks like they're inching closely to a return to this platform. Plus, I've got something for our guest, which will create quite a headline. That might be the cue. And no, Magnum Carter is not coming on. As far as we know, no, Dominic is not coming on. Though I am going to have an announcement about Dominic. And no, a hit marker is not coming on. But I want to give our guest that introduction here in prime time on the brightest lights, because you know, normally we don't do this at 8 o'clock. But when this man says he needs to get on and he needs to be here, or else we'll be square, we make sure all of our reservations, all of our plans, they're all pushed to the side, because this man has done so much for us, and we give him that opportunity, and he says how far, we just do it. We don't even worry about the jump. We just go for it. But the famous words of Def Leppard frontman Joe Elliott, let's get rocked, because I see our chat is here, and this man is getting ready, because you know he's going to create plenty of headlines here on Sportswire Radio, the number one level radio station where all music and wrestling matters. So with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, number one Gamble Sports Show, a man that has changed the game since 2018, and a man that has been now 18 times a BYW champion, a man that you've seen in nearly 24 companies and counting. He is the man that has created and founded a company that is one of the greatest ones in the backyard wrestling circuit as we know it today, with the initials of YBW. And he's certainly broken out and created many headlines, because his name is simply put the headline. dun, dun, dun. The headline and Blaze! Headline: The Trailblazer is here, my friend. How are we doing? And welcome home.
Damn right. Welcome home is right. The headline is effing home. Yes, indeed. You are not seeing things. This is not an illusion. This is, pun not intended, reality. Aaron Blaze is back after seemingly supposed to be out for the rest of the year and somewhere in the start of 2026. I am back in 3 months. Feels
Amazing.
great.
I don't know how you do it, but you always find ways to change the game. You always find ways to trailblaze. It is so good to have you here. There is so much to talk about. And I see one man that he lived up to his word. He said he would be here from start to finish. And I'm gonna get to him. I'm gonna definitely get to him, but I gotta talk about first what everybody has on their minds and the headline Aaron Blaze. For those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform that you and YBW most certainly helped build, Sportswire Radio, talk to me about how it feels to be back and back in a YBW ring.
Well, where do I even really begin? Well, it feels good getting out of bed. It feels good getting out of bed, being active again. Even the simplest things that I used to do on a regular basis, I wasn't able to do. Most of my time was spent laying up in a cast and relying on crutches to get here, there, and everywhere. Um, but after shifting away from that, some physical therapy, and just taking some time to recover, I am back in full swing, even with the knee clicking and clacking. That's gonna be my new nickname. I should change my gimmick to Click Clack, and just have little keys just on my T-shirt. But no, on a serious note, heading back home to YBW, the show that started all, especially being Breakdown. It was 6 years ago. I became the first undisputed champion, and boy, have a lot of things changed since then. And it just felt great to get back in action.
Absolutely, no question about it. And I got to think, and we're going to put the footage up, and I do want everybody to hit that sub button for us here for YBW as YBW continues to move up those thresholds, and we want to make sure we support everybody. But must have made it extra special to come back for a show that started it all. We think about it, right? 7 years ago, and here we are, YBW Breakdown 7, and that had to have made it extra special. And on top of that, you opened the show. You could have been the headline. You could have figuratively been that headline, that main event, and we all would have been happy. We all would have said the same thing. But you came out of there out of nowhere, and how did that feel? And to do it right at the show, it started it all and open things up, nonetheless.
It really didn't matter that I would open the show or close out the card. What matters is that I showed up back at the show, and I really didn't plan on performing. It was kind of just a last minute decision. I had my gear with me, and I'm just like, you know what? Let's test out this knee. Let's see where I stand. Let's see if I lost a step or maybe gained an extra one. Who knows? I don't know. But um, nevertheless, time didn't really affect me. Time didn't really
Right.
knock me off that little pedestal that I've been on, and it's just great. It's just a great
It's
feeling.
it's funny that you said those things. We'll put the footage up here in a minute. I talk with different people all the time. Sometimes I talk with musicians, and I talk with some of your peers, and then I talk with some pro wrestlers, and it's always that first time out there that's almost like you're nervous, and then everything else it's like riding a bike. But was that the same for you? Because that first time you're out there after quite a hiatus, you've been out several months, and then you come back. Like I said, I speak with people in all different backgrounds. It's always that first time that people kind of are a little nervous or extra nervous. Was that like that for you?
It was roughly the same. I kind of have the same level of nervousness. It's more so, I mean, depending on how in depth the match is, when
Right,
it
right,
comes to
right.
just regular matches or championships or anything like that. But for a return, it was kind of just the same level. I didn't have to really try as hard, but nevertheless, I still had a point to prove that I could still keep up.
Yeah, well, I
I
mean,
think
because
I
well,
handled it
you're
very
Aaron
well.
Blaze. I mean, listen, you're Aaron Blaze. I mean, not, every day somebody always says your name or your name's always mentioned. You've traveled and
Ain't that the
so
truth?
many different places, so there's definitely that pressure. I totally get that. So let's go to the footage. Let's obviously show it. Let's everybody have an opportunity to watch along with you. And if you are here, like I said, please hit the sub button for YBW. Also support them on Instagram. Support Aaron Blaze on all social media platforms. We are very honored to have on here the 18-time BYW champion, the one and only
Yeah.
headline Aaron Blaze. You want to say something?
No, that's another thing that I did recently. Technically not too recently, but you get the point.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, 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 yeah.
18-time world champion. I mean that um long overdue. And I think for keeping the peace on this platform, that's as far as I'm gonna go with it.
No, I got that. Listen, no question about it. But obviously, that was one thing. But I before I turn over to the match, there is the poster. That's what I was looking for, and yeah, there it was. And he definitely trailblazed his way back home and returned and breakdown 7. And you need to go check that footage. And we're gonna do that here shortly first. So obviously, let's get to it. I have it here for the audience, and we're gonna go right from the YBW YouTube page. I'm going to come right from the very beginning. Going to go like this, going to go like that. And then I'm going to get your perspective on everything and how it unfolded. So I'm going to go like this, go like that. And talk to me about what's going through your mind here, as obviously the show is about to kick off and get to where we'll wind up being here shortly.
Yeah, so the last time I did make an appearance on here, because I still am the owner, I have to do both the best of both worlds.
Yes.
I did announce that there would be two matches with world championship implications,
Which you
and
mentioned here on the telecast, you actually mentioned that. Well, not you, but the commentary did.
right, and I figured that it was fitting, seeing as how I walked in and out as world champion for the first couple breakdown events. Why not to be able to challenge for the world title, seeing as how, well, challenge for a future title shot, I should say. My
Right,
apologies.
right, right.
But yeah, from tapping out Dominic back in May, I figured I've more than qualified for another chance at earning it rather than just
Ooh, well,
entering an open challenge.
that's where we're gonna get to it a little while
Yeah,
because
we're
your
gonna get to
tag
that.
team
We're gonna get to
partner,
that.
he had
We're gonna get to that.
some disagreements about that. He had some major disagreements about that,
Oh,
which
I
shocked
have I have
everybody.
plenty as well. We'll certainly.
Yeah, that I'm very curious on. But we're watching Skits Krazos here, and obviously KTW was a big part of this show, and it's great to see that the KTW and YBW are working together again.
Hmm.
And I mean, as as we know from your tag team partner, he didn't know. He had no idea you were coming back, and I had kind of said, well, maybe you didn't tell anybody, and maybe that was just kind of your surprise, and you're about to walk through the curtain, and here we are, and I guess
Yeah.
maybe you just wanted to surprise everyone, create another
Yeah.
headline as you always do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I think it kind of just spoils the excitement and the surprise factor if I just flat out tell people, "Oh, hey, this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen." Like
Mm,
in the world of wrestling, you want to perceive it as real as you possibly can. And
yeah.
I really got hurt. I really wasn't even supposed to be on the card, but I really wanted to be, and I needed to make my way to the road to Revelation 6 before it was too late. And I figured that that night, 2 nights ago, was the perfect time, if any. Better late than never.
It's funny that you said that because you were here 3 months ago, July 31st, and you had announced the injury, and this is 3 months. So this is obviously ahead of what you had told us when you were here. And was there a pressure then on your end to say, hey, I've got to get ready because the year is ending, and especially how my year ended last year by coming up short with the YBW championship?
I wouldn't even just push it back all the way to last year. I feel like almost every year I've had in backyard and underground wrestling, I've had like a very strong year throughout. But finishing it in a spot where I was proud and felt complete has always been a challenge for me. Like I've never really ended the year with gold. I've never really ended the year with a big match. And even if I have, it's been, let me crunch the numbers here, like 3 years since that's happened. And I don't know, it kind of hits me hard, especially considering the amount of work I put in and the amount of sacrifices I
Yeah.
make, but nevertheless, I make every year better than the previous in some shape or form with the quality of matches or the stories I tell, so on and so forth. But I made a promise to myself that when I got over this knee, even though I'm still not fully over it, um, that this year was going to be different one way or another. It's one of those, it's like the saying that you either spend a lot of your time trying to get rich or you die trying. You know, I'm either gonna, which
Yeah.
I try doing that too, but I'm either going to attempt to make this year end better because I did say that this was going to be my year one way or another, or I'm going
You
to die
did.
trying, or I'm going to die trying.
Well, I tell you what. I mean, listen, those are things, and I'll give you some advice on getting rich eventually. But listen, you are moving well in the ring. Certainly you are dealing with the injury still, and talk to me about the first few minutes so far. Is this how you wanted the tempo to go so far?
Yeah, like the first, well, aside from that, but the first few moments of this match were fine. I mean, I fought with Skits Krazos before. We haven't had a match in like 2 years, and he doesn't hit any softer. Let me just say that. Um, but yeah, it wasn't any different. It didn't really sink in until I tried to go for something and my knee buckled halfway through because that's a new concept, which you'll see in the video. But yeah, I'm not surprised that he raked my hair. I'm not surprised that he's kind of just, going as slow as a tortoise. I am too on purpose, but it didn't really feel any different than what I've picked up in DBW. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast, and
Yeah.
I'm proud of the tempo here.
Absolutely. No, listen, the old adage is kiss, keep it simple, stupid. And sometimes that's what it does. And I know you and him have some history, but not recent history. And was that something that mattered to you at all?
Not particularly. I kind of just had to treat it like, hey, this is the same guy that's attacked you in the past. This is the same guy that you fought in BYWN. This is the same guy who had some kind of vendetta against me, and I took care of it like I do any other kind of problem.
Well, you're certainly doing pretty good so far of that, and I can certainly see you're moving well out there, and you're doing some of the stuff we've seen you in other places, in addition to
Yeah,
YBW. And
this is where everything goes wrong. This is where everything.
well,
So I
you
went for like
know,
a tope. I tried to do it, and then my knee buckled halfway through
yeah,
and
yeah,
smacked
that
on
was
my head.
the Yeah, well, that's probably something that your tag team partner is going to be watching and waiting for your thoughts on that. But I have no doubt get to him. But something like that. I know you said that everything felt the same. There wasn't really any nerves, but when you have a spot like that where you land
Until
awkwardly,
that point, yeah, until that point, because I tried to just walk into it like, you know what, this is still the same. You never really got hurt. You're just as nervous as you've always been because you care about what you do.
yeah,
And I walked into this match thinking that the stuff I used to be able to do and that I was very good at one point in my career that I am still able to do. Um, that was not the case. I don't need to be busting out tope suicidas and topes and matches that I'm in just for the sake of doing it. But that match was a real eye opener to like, hey, you kind of gotta pivot and adjust because what you used to do in like 2020 and 2021 is not gonna cut it, especially with your knee. No matter how much you think that you're able to still do it, just because you're young, um, it's still dumb. Don't do it.
no, absolutely. Listen, I mean, you're always when you're out there, you're going to either deal with some injuries or you're going to have to adjust, and that's what you're doing. But again, smart move, smart tactic to keep the match going, and we know YBW rules, so at least that gives you a chance to get back in this match and try to do what you do best.
Absolutely. And here we go. Attacking the knee, and this hurt. Like
I could
it
see. Listen,
yeah,
I
it
mean,
hurt like hell. Like
it's
I'm
a
not
veteran
even
tactic. Listen,
I'm not
veteran
even selling
tactic, and
it. Hurt like
that's
hell.
what everybody does.
Yeah, like I'm not even selling or whatever. Like it just hurt. It hurt like hell. Like I was not prepared for like the pain I used to feel when having these matches. It was almost like with the knee, it was doubled. And it's just like
Mm.
shit. I mean, like the doctor said, "Hey, you're able to resume normal activities. Take it easy." Even when I'm on a lighter schedule, I'm not taking it easy. I'm going full throttle. And yeah, it really was not a fun time. So,
Well, those are things that obviously you're going to figure out, and I'm sure continue to do what you do best. But listen, this is a match that you probably didn't want to have in a submission match here, where you're certainly into some different holds, and especially with the injury and such, and you're dealing with it already. But you can look at it and say, well, I'm getting adjusted to being back out there. I know what to expect, and I had an opponent that has gone personal with you in the past, and this was kind of going to be in some ways where it would end up to some extent.
yeah, absolutely. And all I kept thinking was not, oh, can I win this match? Or, oh, this is going to be really, really bad if I lose. My only thought at the time was, I need to just go full throttle, even if it hurts. No matter what the result is, I cannot. If I'm going out, I'm going out swinging. And I kind of just fought through the pain. And as you can see, I went crazy.
You did. No, you definitely went out there
Jesus
and
Christ.
went full throttle. You definitely went out there, and this is where the match kind of turns a bit. And you almost, I don't know if it's adrenaline, I don't know if it's just realizing that where you are in the match, but you turned
Probably
it up a
both.
notch. Well, probably so, and that's what you've turned it up a notch to what you've done so great in the backyard circuit, and that's why you do what you do best. And it was only a matter of time. I mean, it was only a matter of time before you show the world that why you are the headline.
Absolutely. And after hitting that knee, I keep just trying to adjust my legs because both of them are cramped up and all that. And I'm just like, you know what? This might hurt like hell, but you're still putting this match away one way or another.
You know
I
what's
just
on
fought
the
through it.
line because you know what's on the line. That's a title shot, and that's something that you have on your mind. And there's so much on the line. You know, I've been saying this the last few weeks on Sportswire. It's almost like it is kind of like a championship match because it's for a championship match that you wanted and you've had long on your mind. Even though there's no belt at the moment, it's still nevertheless a match where it has that ramification, and you were able to fight through the pain. You were able to fight through some of the obstacles, some of the different things you were dealing with your injury, and you got a hard fought victory, a much needed victory, and you put yourself right where you need to be, and just has to be a great feeling.
It was and it is. It's almost therapeutic in a way because I part of me felt like if I did come back, I wasn't gonna have it. I already was having a lot of doubts with wrestling through both personal life experiences and a thing or two that happened that again I'm not gonna bring up. But
Gotcha.
it was the support I got from the back in the DBW locker room, and then some people I have close to me in and outside of wrestling that reminded me, hey, you are this guy. You still got it. This is not a dead end road for you. This is just a little traffic cone in the road.
Yeah, it's a fork in the road. And listen, things happen, and obviously you still got it, and you showed the world that, and you're on top. You get a big victory, and there it is. And That's why he is the headline Aaron Blaze, and you can watch more of that footage, and we'll come back to this. And I want to take this off the screen for a minute. And so you get this victory. You're obviously building, and then after you, there was your tag team partner who we thought was your best friend. We thought he was your best friend, and he went out there, and certainly his actions have been a little different, and he wound up showing some of his actions, and he said it wasn't personal against another guy that you've got quite a history with in the hit marker himself. But I have to ask you, before we get into some of the things he said on here, what was your opinions of the Mr. MC of the 1-2-3 who dropped some bars figuratively and literally on his opponent, the hit marker ATK, right after your match? You had to have been watching that match on the telemotor. You had to have been watching that in the back. You had to have been watching that like everybody else. And what's going through your mind there watching your best friend, who we thought was your best friend, Mr. MC of the 1-2-3, now Dark Model 1, Magnum Carter?
We can drop the best friend thing and just say Magnum Carter. Let's just keep that at
Okay,
that.
okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I want to save you the time.
No problem.
My thoughts on him and ATK. Tad bit shocking, but I'm somewhat not surprised about how the match has gone. I mean, without disparaging that guy, I'm gonna try and keep this as nice as I can. He hasn't been here. Carter's right
Yeah.
about one thing. He hasn't been here in a very long time, and this entire landscape of Young Breakout Wrestling has shifted from when he was last here, when he was hardcore champion before losing it. Just everyone has evolved. Dominic has evolved, as much as I hate to admit it and give him any props whatsoever. I certainly have evolved. Carter has evolved. There's a whole lot
Carter
of
wasn't really here. When ATK was last in YBW, Magnum Carter was just really coming in. So throughout this last year, if you think about it, ATK hadn't been here, but Magnum Carter was a guy that was helping carry YBW, and he was only here in YBW, and he made that point clear. And we thought that maybe there would have been a mutual respect, and it got a little bit to the way it is. And I know Mr. MC, the 1-2-3, is out there, and I think a lot of people were taken aback in just some of the things he said and his actions leading up into this match. He says not so fast, but I mean, just definitely caught a lot of us off guard. I think because I wouldn't say like Zilla shocked or disappointed, rather, but I would say shocked. I mean, shocked because he was somebody that was considered to be a role model and always did things the right way, always just conducted himself with class, and so many people were behind him, and yet here we are.
I mean, the popularity of Magnum Carter can be looked of one or two ways. I mean, it really just depends on what kind of person you are. But I can't really get into that without pairing up the ATK dynamic. And while I'm on air, I figured it's about time I answer a different question, not to deviate from what you were saying.
No.
But
You're the
why?
headline Aaron Blaze. You
Why
say
is
whatever
he
you
even
like.
back? Let's start making some headlines. Why is he even back in YBW?
It's a great question.
One word, Tom, and it's something that I've done since 2018. It's business.
It creates controversy, but people are talking about it. Listen, the ATK came on here, and there was definitely some people that they didn't like it, but there were also other people that wanted to hear him out. I mean, I think that that's ultimately where it came down to. I think that he's a guy that, whether you like him or not, he is a name. He also, most importantly, though, cut his teeth in YBW, and he was a guy that was here. And ultimately, as we see YBW increase in popularity and subs and views and all that stuff these last few months, I mean, he was just going where the goose was grander. He was just going where saw the tea leaves. He saw the tea leaves that it was time to come back to YBW and such.
Yep. One of very few smart decisions he makes, but I digress. But my point is, I did it for the business. I look at where the company stands. I look at where our world champion. Yeah, right. I look at where our world champion
We're gonna
stands,
get to
and
him.
I wanted to put him to the test, and I never fired him. I never fired ATK. He left, and when he resigned, there was a lot of talk, and there were a lot of things put together. And I'll announce another thing later on of what the terms were for his new deal. But he has partial creative control clause, and I allow it. I only allow it for the simple fact is he can try and control his narrative all he wants, but what happens when the bell rings is a completely different thing. And I kind of know with the roster we have, it's kind of a bit 50-50, but I'll just leave it to chance. Speaking of that, I didn't have anything to do with what happened at Showdown. I'm gonna make that known right now. Another headline I'm gonna make
Yeah,
because some
he
people
was
think
very
that
vocal about that, and I understand his point. But let me ask you one question, because obviously him being back here, do you feel confident that he's going to be here for the long term? I mean, not going into details exactly, but Magnum obviously had his feelings shared about him coming back and getting these opportunities and such. But I mean, are we going to see him regularly in a YBW ring now?
seeing is believing, Tom. Seeing is
Now, I'm
believing.
aware of last year. Listen, I'm aware of those things, but he had said I had asked
Oh,
him that
same.
question.
Oh, same, same. And
I had asked him, I had asked him the same question when he was here a month and a half ago, and he said yes. He said he's here to stay in YBW. But do you feel, as the owner, not you, the headline Aaron Blaze, not competitor, but do you feel as the man that runs this company, that do you feel confident we're going to see him here and on an every week basis?
as the guy that runs this company, we will see. I'm not gonna make any false promises because I could say one thing and then all hell breaks loose tomorrow. Like it's been documented that just when you thought you knew everything, everything shifts and pivots. But um, it
Well,
looks like
look
he's
at
here for
Magnum,
the
right?
time.
I mean, look at
Yeah,
Magnum. I mean, we thought we knew Magnum, or we thought you and Magnum were a certain way, and that, according to Magnum, wasn't to be true, I guess.
I guess, but nevertheless, he ATK. Sorry, excuse me. He did have a rematch clause for a world title, and he got it. And what he does moving forward, good on him. If
Yeah,
he
I don't know where
accomplishes
he's going to
something on
go
the
though in
way, good on him.
YPW. I think that was a point made during the telecast here. I don't know where ATK goes after this match, but certainly him getting an opportunity at the YBW World Championship, I don't think that's going to be
Twice.
happening anytime soon. Yeah, that's not
Yeah,
happening
yeah,
anytime soon.
twice. I mean, yeah, titles are. I don't know. I kind of have a gut feeling that for whatever he's gonna do next, heading into Revelations, that titles are inconsequential. I think he's looking for something else. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, as he tried going for a certain someone's. Yeah, and it cost him
Well,
the match.
it cost him, and you know what? Magnum Carter was very impressive, and he is the MC of the 1, 2, 3, and we're going to definitely get to him shortly. And he gets a big victory, which ultimately leads to where you're going to be back in the conversation. And no question, I do agree with you that ATK will see what happens here in his future, but I think obviously he has to figure out what's next for him, and we'll definitely get into that. But that is the MC of the 1, 2, 3, who on Sunday's show I was wearing his shirt, but I'm wearing your shirt this time because
Yeah,
we
retro.
don't want, we don't want any trouble. And I do have my YBW shirt, but at least you guys have your shirts on when you're here. Whereas when Dominic was here, But that's for one show for another. But that is a big win for the MC, the 1, 2, 3. Let's get to some people here in the chat because I do want to spend a lot of time on Mr. Magnum Carter, and I know he wants to hear it, so we'll get to it. Jade is here first. How you doing, Jade? She is here first. Rare, it's usually Zilla, but she is here first. Thank you for that. Zilla is here first, who I hope is happy with YBW now, because on Sunday's stream she was mad about the spoilers. So hopefully we're good with YBW. Yeah, I know you're looking at me. Why'd you bring that up? But she did say I was mad. She was mad about the
Oh,
spoilers
you're
because
right. You're right. They
I
were
was
gonna
in
spoil it.
listen. I mean, we were
It's a
talking about
post.
it.
It's a post show, Zilla. You can't get that upset.
But she's here. We're happy to see her. And thank you, Zilla, for being here as always. And speaking of people, he said he'd be here. I'd be here, but I think he meant to say I'd be here. But thank you very much. There we go. Now he got it. Thank you, Ryan. Hello, Ryan. How you doing here tonight? And I put how we're doing to buy some time for us. And Jade is feeling better. Good. And Zilla says hello, but not quite yet to the headline Aaron Blaze. She will, though. But
No, she did say
yeah.
hi. She,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Well, nevertheless, yep. Hello to Aaron. And
I,
well, I'm round, but I'm here. I looked away for a second. It scared me because all I heard was the intro. Well, I hope you weren't too scared from the intro. I had Lorraine Lewis last week who really liked my intro. So if she liked it, then I'm happy. And yes, not just YBW being the best in PA, but one of the very best, period, in BYW, which was my point in that intro, which is why you have to hit that sub button for YBW. Follow them on Instagram. Check them out on TikTok, Facebook, and buy some merchandise and help the movement grow. And that's one way
amen.
to do it. And Zilla does like your haircut, though. Zilla liked your haircut.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, Zilla, I'm not getting one anytime soon, so you'll have to stick with mine. But I'm only kidding. Speaking of people that you know very well, Mr. Dalton Skull would like to say hello. How you doing, Dalton? Good to see you, my
All's
friend.
well, Dalton.
That's good. Yes, yes, yes. And a lot of stuff in BYCW in the pike. And how is everyone? Zilla's doing good. A lot of doing good. So let's get to some more meat and potatoes. I'm doing better than I was doing. I'm waiting for more. Our friends in from the Backyard Wrestling Nexus from Dakota, friends from Legendary Backyard
LBYW.
Wrestling. Yes, LBYW. We have Haunted Hellfest 5. And Psychotic Freak will be here on Monday. He'll talk about Freak Math and the fallout from that.
Nice.
And Brett Anderson, another man you know, would like to say hello. And
Doing, Brett.
then there's where Mr. Carter would like to say Dom wears a shirt to promote YBW. That's a first because I had mentioned you and when Magnum are here, always wear your merchandise, whereas Dominic has not.
100%.
And well, don't doubt Dominic though. And hello, Brett. And I hope you and have we figured out who attacked Brett? Well, you have to ask him when he comes back on.
It was me, Brett. It was me.
I want to say hello to Mr. Doc Holiday. Doc is in a number of different places I'm excited about, and maybe one day he'll be on. TF Crew, NEW, GTS, among others. It's always great watching your show. Thank you very much. I was speaking to somebody on TikTok, and she said, I've watched your shows. I do some stuff with speaking of wrestling in Pennsylvania, I do some stuff with Mon Valley Pro Wrestling, the WVWF, and I didn't even know this person. She's like, well, I've watched your clips. I'm like, well, please keep tuning in. And obviously, if it's Mr. Alpha, he'd like to talk with you later. And how you doing, good old Doc? And definitely love seeing Doc. And, well, she won't be ready. Well, Justin Parsley's on next week, so she might have a heart attack. So that'll be a different show for a different time. But, before I get to YBW, you mentioned DBW earlier. I'm going to break it for the audience. We have DBW coming back onto Sportswire next month. DBW is obviously getting ready to return. And, I've had a long-standing relationship with the guys in DBW. Chase Wakefield, I think he's still in DBW, has been here almost like every month. A lot of the guys, Van Hansen was here not too long ago, has a show, an animated series, Grungy. You can go check it out. And so what's your thoughts on DBW here coming back? Not to get too much in the weeds, because I'm sure we'll talk about that in the next few weeks. But what is your thoughts here? DBW obviously getting ready to make a big transition with some more footage here upcoming.
Oh, it's great. I really wish I could have gone to I think the first taping after TDX, but
Yeah.
I just recovered. But still, I feel like the more and more you are away, the less and less likely you're going to fly high above, and in my
Right,
case,
right.
trick to the top. But
Yep.
I'm really excited for DBW to come back. We have a lot of great things in store for you guys. You don't even know it. It's
Yep.
just great. We're close to wrapping up the 2025 season. You gotta love the pre-tape life, and it's just
Yeah.
done. It's just done with some of the most talented and some of the greatest people with the best work ethics in BYW and underground wrestling at large. So I'm excited for you guys to see what we got in
Yeah,
store,
absolutely.
and just
Yeah.
ending the season with World War III. It's gonna be
You
great.
know, it's just crazy to me, real quick, and it's I know the same for you guys here in YBW. I feel like the year just started yesterday, and now all of a sudden, all these
Ah,
companies, the year is almost over. Docs and NEW, and NEW, their season, it almost broken down into threes. You guys with YBW, we're now got two big shows left in the year. DBW had Summer Smash, and now we're just gonna go right into the rest of the year. It's so interesting to me. I feel like it was yesterday was January 1st, and here we are almost
yeah.
Halloween, which is Doc's Day pretty much.
Yeah, it's just insane. Like I remember not too long ago vlogging for me heading all the way to Oregon, and
Yep.
just a bunch
Yeah.
of footage that I haven't even began to edit and air, that I need to get to, on top of the plentiful list of other things I need to get
Right.
together.
Right.
But yeah, this year flew like way. I feel like it flew by quicker than 2024. I don't know why.
Well, because I think you were in a lot of places. I think obviously you were part of a lot of big things, and obviously a company like DBW, one of the bigger ones out there, and in underground wrestling. And if you'd like to check out DBW and some of their footage, some of their content, I would really recommend that you do so. Because I remember when it was yesterday that DBW, when they first came onto my platform, had like less than 3,000 subs. Now we're at 4,000 plus subs, on the way ever so closely to inching up to VTW's numbers, but you'll see a lot of DBW guys in VTW. But you can see their most recent show, Summer Smash. You can also check out some of the stuff that Mr. Aaron Blaze was a part of, and check out their footage. And we'll have some more coverage with it. I'm sure we'll have Mr. Castelli and some others, and maybe even Chase Wakefield if he's still in DBW. But obviously, we're also speaking of which, by the way, before we get to more comments, that's another thing I'm very excited to see eventually when Chase Wakefield releases this wedding invitational. I think that's
Oh
another
yeah.
thing that people will be really curious about. Chase had said some things. He said he was hoping to make this into a wrestling thing, almost a wrestling promotion kind of. That's what his goal was when he was here about a little over a month ago on Sportswire. He was here actually on September 27th, and that was his last appearance. And he just said he'll be back when the footage is out there, but he wants to use some of this and turn it into a wrestling promotion. I think that's so fascinating. So another place to maybe people will talk about, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I had a great time at his wedding. It was really, really fun. I got to see a bunch of
Yeah, Van
great
Hansen spoke
people.
about it. Van Hansen had
Yeah.
said he was there. It was pretty cool. Van spoke about it.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was just a really, really great time. I was super exhausted before I had head there because of my old job.
Sure.
But I still had a great time nonetheless. It was good.
Yeah, absolutely. No, listen, I know Chase really wanted me to show up, but that was around the time I had unfortunately had the left side of my mouth done. Then I had my right
Oh
side of
yeah,
my
and you
mouth done.
said that you were gonna die or something. It was
Oh my
so
God. You
dumb.
know what? I went to the dentist and I was on my way, and some of my chat's going to be like, you're really out of your mind, which I know I am. But I was going I crossed from New York to New Jersey, and all of a sudden it felt like the light. It was almost like I was being
Oh,
taken, and it was just like, I know people, you're the headline. You travel everywhere, Oregon and, Tennessee. You've been to Indiana. You've been to obviously, Maryland and your own state and other places. And I was just from New York to New Jersey, and it was like, I'm going to this place. I have a shotgun. I know Doc Holliday's here. He's like, yeah, he's definitely not hardcore, but it was like I had a shotgun go through my mouth, and it was like, I don't even know why, why did I do it? People were telling me, why did you do this? And it was like, I really was in that much pain, but yeah. So that's why I was out. And then then Rad Dad made up for it, because it was like, okay, Rad Dad will be on, make me feel a little better. But yeah, I really wanted to be there at the wedding because Chase and his other half, his better half, wanted me to be there, but I just unfortunately it wasn't in the cards, figuratively and literally. Then, like I said, my right side, but thankfully my right side it wasn't as painful. I know you wrestlers do so much, but my right side wasn't as painful. But we'll get to some more comments that aren't as painful. Justin Parsley will be here next week. You'll have to stay tuned when Sean Jovi is here Thursday night. That's when I'll talk about it, but he'll be here. And yes, I apologize, Zilla. Thank you for reminding me, and thank you to Aaron for reminding me. And speaking of OGs, Mr. Doc Holliday would like to tell you to keep doing what you're doing, and I've been watching you from the shadows. That's very kind of Mr. Holliday.
I appreciate that.
A man from the GBYWN. A lot of the guys in VTW and DBW have talked about Mr. Holliday. Obviously, he's with the NEW guys in VTW, and they've talked a lot about Mr. Doc Holliday and TF Crew. And check it out. Check out their Atlanta show coming up. I bought a ticket for it. And the year is almost over. It's crazy. It's anarchy. And hit the sub button for DBW. And also, Aaron Blaze, I'm looking forward to watching more of your matches. Keep doing what you do best in the ring. Brody, thank you very much, Ryan, for the kind words.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I've only got 2 shows left till I put up my pads, and I'm sure we'll talk about that.
Oh, yeah. Dalton's retirement. Yeah. I wasn't sure if he was still doing that, so I thought he was going to give it one more year, to be honest.
Well, a lot of people,
Darkron. I heard Darkron.
Darkron's next year, right? Darkron's next year. I mean, CJ Black has talked about retirement. I don't know updated on that. He has talked about retirement. I mean, there's a lot of people, talking about it. Well, you never know. Listen, you can only take people at their word. I mean, listen, if you're a fan of, rock music, Kiss retired like 17 times. People, Ric Flair has retired how many times? So, you never know out there. He uninvited Parsley for no reason. About Sean Jovi. My friend is back better than ever, and I'm glad to hear that. And Jade is not happy about Sean Jovi being here, but she'll still be here. Thank you for that. All right. I do want to talk about Magnum Carter, and I have a lot to say on that, but I promised you a surprise. It's not Magnum Carter. It's not the aforementioned Magnum Carter. It's not Dominic. It's not the hit marker. But I do want to give this to you because it's a good time. I got a lot of people here in the chat. People are having a good time. I know it's an early time. But congratulations, you were in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame for being the headline of Backyard Wrestling. You are in the Hall of Fame once again. I know we've done this a few times, but I wanted to give it to you. 22 companies and counting, 18 championships, back home where it all began in YBW. To quote Biggie, it was all a dream, but I'm not going to bust a bar or two because that's Magnum Carter's role. But certainly, congratulations, and we wanted to give this to you, and hopefully you'll take it. And
I will. First of all, thank you. Second of all, I love that song.
Yeah.
Great.
I remember it as a kid and growing up in Brooklyn. People would say, "Oh, they'd always hear that." Yeah, that was And then I told them I didn't grow up in that part of Brooklyn, but I know I could find it for you. But no, that's for you. You deserve it. Yes, congratulations. And Skulls is in the house, who's also done a lot of good things most recently. Thank you, Skulls, and thank you, Doc. So yeah, we'll give you this. You got a lot of other awards, a lot of other championships, but we'll give it to you.
Frame it on my wall.
I appreciate that. I like the man that'll be here Thursday because I'm not here tomorrow, but Thursday Sean Jovi will be here, and that really upsets some people. But he's hung up many of those things. But I really want to now dive in fully now into this guy, Magnum Carter, the MC of the 1, 2, 3, who dropped so many bars here on Sportswire Radio. And this is the man that you're in the ring with next. November 30th is coming up. It's just over a month from now. And I was caught off guard by many of these things he said. I thought that I knew you guys. I had always been under the impression you guys were best friends, the Golden Guns, the emotion. I remember his birthday, you being here, and everything that we thought between you two guys. But then he talked about the fact he didn't get that phone call for your return to the ring. He talked about the fact you guys have only teamed once as a team, still more than Justin Parsley and Anthony Steele had, with this separate point. He talked about, though, really that it was because you had a common enemy and a common goal in Dominic, but you guys really weren't what we thought. Mayday and all that. And then this is what got me most, Aaron Blaze. I love I love Magnum Carter, and I love you, and I love even Dominic. I know people say, you like Dominic, but I really want to like everybody, and I love having YBW on Sportswire. But when Magnum Carter did what he did in ripping that shirt, that Golden Gun shirt, I mean, that was a line I thought we would never cross on Sportswire, especially with Magnum Carter, a guy that talked about so much that he wanted to be a role model. He wanted to be a role model. He's worked multiple jobs, always shows up to the tapings. He's fought through injuries. We know about that cancer situation. We know about his young daughter, everything that this man went through. He, to me, was somebody that I looked at like a Darkron, like a Sean Jovi. He was right there with me, right there for me with those guys that I looked at and put on a pedestal. These guys were the people I looked at as pillars of the BYW and role models. And then that shirt that he ripped off, I have to ask you, what was going through your mind with that and so many of those things that the MC of the 123 said here and all those bars he dropped? You take that drink. You take all the time you need. Don't you worry.
I'll try not to take up much.
No, you do that. This is your show. You built this platform. By all means, you are here to say anything you want because I'm still shocked, not disappointed, but shocked.
Oh, trust me, you don't want me to say anything I want because there's a lot.
Well, we don't want you to turn to Anthony Steele. He's become much more, refined these days. We hope you stay the same route.
Yeah. I don't know what route you want me to go, Tom. Do you want me to be brutally honest or somewhat decent?
I think that I would say somewhat in between because Magnum still said, here's the thing, and this is where I'm a little confused. He said you guys were still a team. He said you're still a team, but he ripped that shirt off and he talked about things that I don't think any of us would have ever expected from a Magnum Carter.
Yeah, I'm kind of beating around the bush on this, kind of like Carter when he tries to make a point. But on a separate note, I guess I'll just be honest. Usually it gets me in trouble, but I get in trouble no matter what I say with certain people, so fuck it. You're gonna want to use the beeper because there will be cursing in this. Because I know that there's gonna be people that are gonna clip the things I say out of context. There's nothing to clip out of context, motherfuckers. I know you're watching me. The truth is, when I think of Magnum Carter, I think of the perfect participator. When I look at the MC of 123, I just see a guy that is just counting any and all ways to try and get to the top. But now he's ran out of numbers to call when it comes to really being what's the word I'm looking for? The kingpin of everything. Because he likes to talk about, what was it that he said that I barely paid half attention to?
Well, he was talking about that you guys really
we had a common enemy. Let's start at the beginning.
Yeah, Dominic. Well, Dominic was the big thing, which is what I was going to say, that really the reason you were together because of Dominic.
Let's start there. What did Magnum Carter do in the first place to be injected into the world title theme?
Well, that's a great question.
I mean, think about it. He wins the Breakouts Championship. He has a couple defenses. He loses the title. He wins it back. What does he do besides saying, "Hi, I'm Magnum Carter. I want a challenge for the world title. Dominic, let's have a match." Really? And then I stupidly gave him a match. And Dominic had him maybe not beat, but he had him beat up. And he was gonna smack the shit out of him with the steel chair. And he complains, "Oh, you could have waited until after the match. Oh, you cost me the world title." Buddy, there wasn't going to be a chance in hell that you would win the title, because as soon as Dom would hit you with that chair, you want to know what the bell would do? Ding, ding, ding. Disqualification. Meaning that no title changes hands. I saved you from getting smacked in the back with a steel chair. Not even to get at Dominic for my own personal grudge against him, but because it was the right thing to do when he already ruined what could have been a history-making moment. But yet Carter blames me. Fine, fine, sure. So then he gets involved in my business with Dominic as I'm trying to, pardon the Cody Rhodes verbiage, finish my story. And he inserts himself into mine again with the bloodthirsty triple threat. And
Yes, you
I
referenced
do
that
the
here. Yes.
damage. I do the damage. Golden Flaming Shovel. I have it won. Dominic clocks me in the head with the same steel chair. 1, 2, 3. But it wasn't on me, it was on the MC. And then afterwards, he says that I'm having a nervous breakdown and all this other stuff. But he came to me wanting an alliance. Notice that, Tom? I want you to keep picking up on all of these details
I
with
see. Okay,
Magnum
so
Carter.
I'm gonna. So
He
I got
came
this
to
issue. He wanted a match with Dominic. You gave it to him, and then he was getting brutally beaten, and then
It
by
was gonna
you,
get thrown out.
right? And then he went to you again to then ask for more, and he really had more into that. Then it was Breakouts champion. You would mention that, and really, for what it seems to me is that this is a different story than we heard on Sunday's show.
Yeah, it's almost like you need to hear the other version of the story to really make an opinion. But Tom, that's not even half of what's
I
been really
know. I'm
going on
listening.
here.
All right.
So then, because of a stipulation he put in, not me, not
Yep.
yeah, he put in, Dom, if you beat me, you get a shot at my Breakouts championship. Hoo ha 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 ha. And then he beats Dominic. Good for him. He brags about having that victory over him, but Tom, do you remember how Breakout King of the Yard opened? I recall beating up a certain member of reality before the show even started. And it's almost like reality kind of needs help in some shape or form to get the job done against the bigger names, the bigger guys. But let me ask you this, would Magnum Carter really have a fair shot if I didn't take out Oliver Blade?
Probably not. Probably not, because the numbers game would have caught up against him, and
And
he
he would have
wouldn't.
probably lost the Breakouts Championship or got
Because the
beaten
math
out.
would have been against him with reality, and reality would have set in, and Magnum Carter would
So
have
that's
the
so that's
ball.
strike one, strike two, strike three. But now we're on the second inning, Tom. We're on the second
Well,
inning.
it's funny you use strikes. I was on a jury today, a mock jury, and we had. I'm going to say it for some people in
Oh
the
yeah,
chat.
yeah,
I
yeah.
want to say it. So I was in a case, and somebody had a surgery go wrong, and the human body has 7,000 milliliters worth of blood, and they lost 8,000 milliliters of blood, and
Of
then
what?
they were going through the surgery. Now, you can keep the body stable. There's ways, so they didn't die, but their leg turned purple.
Purple.
And basically, yeah, turned purple, permanently purple. They can't walk. They have a brace, and a long story, but but the point is that in one of the jurors in the case had said, well, it's one strike if you lose a little bit of blood and you don't tell your spouse, and then it's 2 and 3 strikes, and it kind of goes back to what you said with the MC of the 1, 2, 3, because you just dropped your own bar on how many times Magnum Carter went to you to get something, and every time he got something, well, he didn't drop a ball, he dropped the ball.
But wait, Tom, it gets better. It gets better. Trust me. Trust
I'm
me.
listening.
So then we go into Heroes versus Villains, and it wasn't a good
Yes,
night for either of us.
I'm aware of that.
But then Blood, Sweat, and Tears comes around, and we both came up with this good idea. Let's try and put down reality. Let's try and get rid of them.
Yes, you guys were in a feud with them. Yes.
And Carter probably took credit. I only half pay attention to what he says because, like most view repellent people you have on this platform, he put me to sleep as well. So correct me if I'm wrong. Did he say anything along the lines of how he helped me beat Dominic at Blood, Sweat, and Tears? Did he say anything along
He
those
did
lines?
mention that. Yes,
Okay,
he
he did
talked
say it.
about
He
that.
did
Yes, he
say it.
did.
Okay.
Yes. He did.
There was a point towards the end of the match where I accidentally hit him with a kill shot knee in midair, trying to take out
Yes.
Dominic. Shit happens.
Yep.
And then it was 2-on-1 with Oliver Blade and Dominic beating me up. I don't know about you, Tom, but I recall winning that match practically by myself at that point.
Yes.
There was no MC of 1, 2, 3. I couldn't call on Carter because I practically knocked him out with half strength, by the way. We'll get into that later. I dispatched of Oliver, and then I tapped out Dominic by myself. What happened after is irrelevant. What he thinks in that paradigm is irrelevant because, once again, I got the job done by myself in that regard from that point on. I'm not going to deny that he didn't do his part, but at the same time, with how this ended in this little dance between me and Dom, I proved to the world that when it's 1-on-1 and it's a fair match and I am locked in, and I lock in a blaze lock, or I decide to hit him with a burnout, head trauma, whatever the hell I decide to come up with, it's over. Because 1-on-1, at this stage of my career, Dom can't beat me, and I proved that back in May. I proved it. And you're
And
playing
what
you're
you
playing
said,
it right you're playing it right now.
and
You're playing it
yes,
right now.
because that's I figured to give context, but also what you're telling me by all those scenarios is that Magnum Carter 1-on-1, mano a mano, he's not ready to beat Dom. Then that's what you're telling me, right? Based off all those scenarios, based off everything, that he's not ready to get the job done. And he wanted that shot. He talked about
Tom, it's not even me telling you. All you have to do is watch the show, and I'll give you another great example. Let's go to
right.
exhibit E and F,
Okay.
because there's more, of course. We get into me getting hurt and me
A few months
awarding him
ago.
the hardcore championship. I
Yep.
didn't do that out of pity. I didn't do that as, oh, hey, here you go, buddy. I did it because I wanted to amplify a match that he had with Monstruck. I wanted
Yes,
him
we
to
talked a
have
lot about that
even
on here.
more
Yep.
fuel to the fire. I wanted him to get pumped up. Like, show me what you can do. Show
Because
me
his year,
what
we
you're
talked about that.
capable of.
His year has been mixed at best. I mean, you talked about your own pitfalls, but really his year wasn't the same as last year where he was unstoppable. This year there's definitely, as you've mentioned, some roadblocks.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he claims he's this role model, that role model, the future, blah, blah, blah. Okay, show me what you can do with a championship that I've had the most reigns, the most stories, the most matches with, the most history, so on and so forth. Show me how you can elevate this championship. Um, he couldn't even make it past my former tag team partner in Damian Hunter. And he fought back. That's another thing. He fought back, slammed him around, smacked him with the briefcase. Um,
We talked about that
he
on here. We showed the match. Yep, on his
even
birthday.
then, I slow counted. I didn't even want to count the 3. He still lost, Tom. So he loses my title in a matter of moments. Yeah, good job, role model. You're giving us the blueprints on how to look like a fucking idiot. Good job. And that's not even the rest of the night. He goes to face Monstruck, who didn't even bring his A game, and you
Yep,
can just tell. And then he
we
lost.
watched. Yep.
And then we go to Showdown, where he dominated Damian Hunter and he
Yes.
got in over his head, and he still lost. So again, is it really that Aaron Blaze is at fault for why Magnum Carter isn't the figurehead of YBW, or does it really have to do with Magnum Carter?
So it sounds to me like what you're saying is it's not about Aaron Blaze. It's about the fact that Magnum Carter is like an MC, but an MC that in the ring, he's not just dropping bars. That he's not doing. He continually drops the ball because every time he's out there in every situation up until recently, the role model of BYW seems to be the role model from what you're telling me in dropping the ball, because time and time again, you listed situation after situation throughout this year, and almost all of them, the MC of the 1, 2, 3 he dropped plenty of balls rather than bars on Sportswire.
Yeah.
He fumbled. He fumbled and stumbled, and he bumbled
Tom,
his way through match after match.
Fumble doesn't even begin to describe it. And then he goes on, not goes on, but he proceeds to enter into his bitch fit phase and blame everybody but himself. He takes it out on ATK. He gets involved in the showdown main event and he
And then
attacks
said it
Dominic.
wasn't personal with him and ATK. It was just a matter of it's just that moment. And he respected ATK, but it wasn't personal. That's what he said on here. He was here. Obviously you heard through the
His
grapevine.
actions don't match that, Tom. That's my point. His
I'm aware.
actions do not match that. Like, he claims to be a good guy. He says he's not a bad guy. He says we're in a team, and then he does this and blah, 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 blah. But really, it's just this obsession that Carter has had since the start of the year after beating my cousin, to where he's been running off that adrenaline high thinking he deserves to be world champion and that that's his story to finish and that it's his match to be a part of and that it's his moment to make when you're not even remotely close to it.
So are you saying? So wait, you mean to tell me that Magnum Carter is trying to finish your story, but the only difference is that it's not Magnum Carter that's supposed to finish the story. It's the headline Aaron Blaze. So the headline really here is that, does Magnum Carter have a split personality?
I don't know if it's split personality, but I do know at this point he is trying to be me. In a weird, backward, twisted,
So are
sick
you saying
way.
that
He is
basically
trying to be me.
he's trying to copy you, right? He's trying to be a copycat.
I guess because he thinks he's at my level, and he's
Did
not
you
even on
ever
the level below.
perceive? Now, I know Magnum said you guys really didn't have this relationship that we thought on YBW TV, but I'm not there in the locker room, so I can't comment on things I don't know about. But is it fair for me to ask, was Magnum Carter ever jealous of you? Did you ever perceive Mr. Carter jealous of you in any way or any shape or form throughout this alliance over the past year?
Not until recently, and either it's just he really woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or he's a really good actor, and I don't have the time or the care in the world to figure out which. I don't. It's not within my concern to figure out if he's my friend today, tomorrow, next week,
But he
month,
said
year.
also the team is still, you guys are still a team. That's what I was even more confused of, because after he ripped your shirt that you and him share, by the way, go to the YBW merch store. I'll put some links up there in a few minutes. But he said the Golden Guns still exist. But after what he did by ripping that shirt off, I can't necessarily see you guys teaming together or certainly exchanging any Christmas cards anytime soon. I don't know what you think on that.
Pretend this is a golden gun, right? I don't own a firearm. Golden gun, right? Pop up the chamber, empty the bullets, put it in the holster, take the holster belt off, throw it in the back. I'm adding it to the list of things that are in the back burner for the Trailblazer.
Okay, all right. So I got that. Listen, but now you've got to see him in a month from now, November 30th. And he's going to be here once again in his usual spot. And now this match has so much more on the line. It's not even about this Golden Guns team. It's not even about, I thought, what you guys had been bonded over, and not just a friendship, but certainly to take down Dominic. But now Dominic's in the way here. The winner of this match goes on and challenges Dominic for that YBW championship. And now, in a way, you've got to forget about some of these things he's even said, because in order for you to go back to finish your story, you have to go beat Magnum Carter to get a rematch from the end of last year.
It's crazy you say that with the Golden Guns and all that, Tom, because as much as I really do want to forget about the things he said, I'm taking that and everything else that I've dealt with since losing that title in 2021. I'm taking that as ammunition to load my own gun. And one thing that I've always kept in the back of my mind, and why I can't win the big one, and why has it been so harder for me lately, and what has really set me apart from the Aaron Blaze I was. The Aaron Blaze that certain people like to say died last year, the real Aaron Blaze, or the guy of yesteryear, or whatever the hell people are saying about me. It's redundant.
Right.
But one common thing I've looked at is for all the moments I've made, for all the headlines I make, lately I haven't been able to pull that trigger.
Why do you think that is? I mean, you've been injured for the last few
I
months.
don't know why, and I don't know why, but I look back at some big time matches I've had, but one that stands out the most is last year ROEW debut, World Championship, Jack Delta.
You
That
hadn't won. We
split
talked about it here. You won. You won the match, and
that
then
split second when I didn't hit him with the title cost me everything. And then from that point on, it's been more and more difficult. And you saw it at DBW Fallout
Yep.
when I faced Chase Wakefield, a match I needed to win to solidify my spot in DBW before I
Even
really
in the
got
Rumble,
the
there, we
Unfinished
thought you
Business
won that
started.
Rumble. You
And
were
the
right.
Rumble and the tag match, and even with Aaron Jones, that split second of hesitation of failing to pull the trigger. It's happened over and over and over and over and over
You
and
were in the
over.
ring after your match with Jack Delta. You wrestled at the time. It was C Money. He's Cash Carter now, and I mean, I don't know why this has been happening to you for the past year plus, but you've got to
It
forget
goes
about
back. It goes back to Delta because even though I said a lot and I did a lot, I always admired and respected him, and I wanted to do the right thing by the fans, and I wanted to do the right
I
thing
remember
by my
asking you that
morals.
here. I remember you came on afterwards, and I was like, "Did you think about taking the belt and hitting him with it, and you would have been the champion?" And who knows, all this stuff that's happened, and even a place like ROEW, time could have been completely different. Think about it, right? What if you
Mm.
had did what you did to Jack Delta, and you were the ROEW champion? None of this stuff may not have happened. All the things. I mean, I see Darkron here in the chat. Oh, now Johnny Velocity in ROEW. I mean, who knows? Maybe Jack Delta wouldn't be injured. Maybe Jack Delta and you would have had a best of 5, best out of 7. I mean, there's so many scenarios. You and Jason Storm, you and CJ Black. I mean, you and Kyle Kaplan. I mean, there could have been so many scenarios that could have happened, but you didn't do it, and it led to a number of shortfalls. We know how many times you and Dominic squared off for the YBW championship. Mr. Carter's here in the chat. He's just going to town on that. We know what you just mentioned in DBW, Mr. Wakefield, the real boss man, Aaron Jones. I mean, we saw in that Rumble how close you were of bringing home gold. And the injury, maybe, I know the injury was non-wrestling, but you could say, well, maybe that wouldn't have happened. There's so many things that's happened to you in the past year. And then this Magnum Carter thing. I mean, we can't go back and change the past. That's one thing I've learned. But we can certainly change the future. And you do have an opportunity to change the future in a big way. Anarchy Sanctum on the last stop to Revelation 6 and rewrite all those wrongs, whether it was Jack Delta, whether it was C Money, Aaron Jones, Chase Wakefield, whether it was in that Rumble to win the Anarchy Championship, all those things that you had in front of you. You can rewrite all those wrongs. The Golden Guns, you guys only teaming once together. That friendship that we thought, you can rewrite all those wrongs and also finally put an end to a championship run There are people here that are going to hate me saying this, but Dominic, when we look back in the history books, in the annals of time, he has one of the longest reigns for any BYW champion. And that continues. It continues like the Energizer Bunny. It keeps going and going and going. And he's gone now. So almost a year and a half by the time we hit the Revelation 6. But you've got an opportunity to change that story and change your own story. But first, you got to get through this guy that the only thing that's on his mind right now, well, headline, is you.
See, I know what I need to do, but it goes against my morals. It goes against everything I've dealt with. It goes against the person I wanted to be for the fans and for myself, because I always have said, both privately and publicly, if I'm going to leave behind a legacy, I want one I can be proud of. And that is why I didn't do what I did last year. That is why I didn't pull the trigger, because if I did win that big match and take that championship, I knew I wouldn't be proud of it.
But people might be looking at you
But
differently.
but
And
I
we have
have
Sean Jovi right
respect.
now to say he did it. I mean, Sean Jovi's going to talk about why he did what he did, and he was in your shoes, and he pulled the trigger, and you waited, and I guess you have your reasons. You're telling us why you didn't, but your
But yeah,
journey.
I have respect for Jack Delta. I respect BYW and the underground community at large for all the good and bad, for whatever people think of me in a positive or negative connotation. But recently,
Yeah.
for what he's done, and even what he said about my knee recently, how he's been acting, I am not afraid to pull that trigger on Magnum Carter.
Mm.
And I'm not afraid anymore, even though I don't like the person I am when I pull that trigger. Because I know the piece of shit I can be. I'm aware of this. This isn't new, but it's
Well,
true. It's damn true. I know that it's enough to put someone out of contention. I know what his weaknesses are as much as he knows mine. And with the world championship, because it is the world championship that has defined me. It is the world championship that we are talking about right now. It is the championship that has gone through so much turmoil, more than any other throughout backyard and underground wrestling. It is the topic, Tom. And I've been without it for 4 years. And
yeah, we were talking
before
about that. Yeah, almost 4 years. Yep.
4 years, and I can't wait anymore. And before I can even think about taking a championship in DBW or going to any other company, I can't even begin to care about any of that and feel complete and satisfied with any of it until I take back the very championship that made me.
But he's in your way. That's the thing that makes this
He
so
is in my way,
interesting.
but he is in my way. And David has always slayed Goliath. I know I've never pinned Magnum Carter. I know that I've never tapped out Magnum Carter. I'm aware he's beaten me. I'm aware I only have a DQ victory against him, even though I've had him beat twice and I've knocked him out once. But as much as my knee is going to be a factor, I know that this is going to be a factor for him.
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. I saw what you just did there. I saw that. You're referring to something that he's dealing with on a daily basis that we wish no man on. And you just did that. You just went down a road that I would expect no man to go down, because we know his situation with that right now. His situation is that at any given moment, he may get a tap. And it may not be that tap that any of us would want and hope to get. You might have to say, that sign of the cross, but you just did. I saw it. I saw what you just did there.
See, this is why Carter needs to learn to stay in his lane because once again, this forces me to become the Aaron Blaze I don't like. The Aaron Blaze that I'm not proud of. The Aaron Blaze that does become a politician. The Aaron Blaze that doesn't care. The
Well,
Aaron
he
Blaze that
mentioned
will
that
do
on the
what he needs
show.
to do
He
to
mentioned
get a
it on
world
Sunday.
championship.
That had to have upsetted you that he talked about you and ATK coming in here and getting shots. And he talked about how he felt. And you told your side and what would be the truth to some,
You want to
but
know the
he gave his
difference?
side.
You
What?
want to know the difference as much as I don't
Yeah.
like ATK? There's talent behind what me and ATK do. There's
Yeah.
miles and thousands of views and subscribers and matches and moments. We have paved the way for backyard and underground wrestling since he was 12 and I was 13 and all of that. We have been doing this for so long that we
And
have
he
earned the
talked
right.
about he's only doing this since he was about to turn 27. I mean, so he's only been doing this for about a New York minute. You have gone out there into the wilderness for years, more than half a decade, and gone on your own dime, to places that no man has ever gone to. And you did that. You and ATK, for good or worse, some places ATK has went. But he did go out there. He went out there and traveled. He's went to places that no man has gone before or gone in those shoes that you were in. And Mr. Carter, he hasn't done them. I got comments from people. I'm going to get to them before we move on because I could see this is going to definitely get very tense. And if you are here, go buy some YBW merchandise. Speaking of Heartless Sheriffs, Colton Lee said, Blaze, it seems like we are very similar. You know what? After some of what I just heard, maybe. Maybe. We have plenty of comments. I want to say hello to J-Rod. How you doing, J-Rod? It has been a minute. Hope you're doing well, my brother. And be safe out there, and maybe we'll see you on one of these days. Yes, because jumping equals strength, and Magnum Carter did not like what you said about the sleeping comments. He said, you failed to finish your story 7 times. It's time for a new book. I did something you haven't done in a while, beat him 1-on-1. But we showed the footage, and you kind of talked back about that. Also, I don't take calls anymore. Sorry I didn't tell my best friend. That's the line he's using.
Oh yeah.
And
Sorry, I gotta
yeah,
cut you. I gotta cut you
sure,
off on that
sure.
one. He's mad, bitching, and moaning that I didn't call him about my return, but he didn't tell me that he was gonna get involved in the Showdown main event. So how's it any different?
And you know what? Maybe
Why am
you
I the
can
bad
even
guy?
argue. Maybe you can even argue he wasn't telling you about what he said not too long ago on here about. Bet you didn't know that. Bet you didn't know that. But you didn't know that. And the fire has been lit ablaze. Thank you, Colton, for really poetically saying that. Yes, Justin will be on here next week, and she's a big Justin fan. Thank you, Skulls. Congratulations. But right now, Mr. Blaze is not in a congratulating mood. Let's get to some more comments. Speaking of champions that you would know, your champion in your promotion, who certainly had his own dealings, and he may talk about that this month, Mr. Mauler, who rocks hard, Mr. Castelli. He wants to say, Fit Phase, I was just copying the headliner and him best promos. So he basically admitted what you just said. You've been copied. Imitation's the greatest form of flattery, I would imagine.
Oh, by the way, it's his dumbass, not him.
And
Finish your
well,
grammar homework. You're what, 7 years older than me, and you still couldn't surpass high school. Congrats, bro.
well, you know what? I can't get into those degrees. We're not going to do a background check, but like I said, imitation is a great form and the most sincerest form of flattery there. But yes, hello to Brandon, and Brandon will be on here very soon, as he and I have spoke about it. Still real. I am the DBW World Heavyweight Champion. Going on about a year, by the way. Good thing Aaron wasn't there to see what I did in person. Yeah, well, that's a topic we'll be talking about.
We'll talk later, Brandon.
And
One
Mr.
thing at a
Khan wants to
time.
say hello.
We'll
We have Mr. Carter's comments. Yeah, we have Jovi Thursday. Yes, and partially, yes, I got the point. He's here, but we have Aaron Blaze still. Blaze, it seems like we're very similar. I miss Parsley, but I'm excited for Jovi. And Dom is history. Correction. People remember history, but before we get to closing thoughts, Dom is still not history. He's still the current. And I gotta ask you, for whatever reason, somehow you don't win this match at Anarchy Sanctum 5, and we go to Revelation 6, and it's Magnum, Carter, and Dom. Now, based off the story time you told us tonight, based off the different headlines you had given us tonight on Sportswire Radio, would it be fair to surmise that the run of Dominic will continue into next year and approach, dare I say it, Roman Reigns level? If it's going to be Dom and Magnum Carter based on your side of the story, based on the headlines you generated tonight?
Let me answer your question with a different question.
All right. I want to hear it.
And this also goes out to the people in the live, and I'm sorry I can't see it personally. I'm on
We'll
my
get
phone.
to them. Don't worry about it. We'll get to them.
Who really believes that Magnum Carter can be world champion?
Magnum Carter, I think.
Aside from Magnum Carter.
I would say
it's about as same as the negative 3 to 30 people that vote for him in our community tab.
I would answer to that in saying that may fuel him in the same way it fueled Dominic. A lot of people didn't, a lot of people doubted Dominic, and Dominic still holds the YBW championship. Maybe he's counting on that.
If Dominic's a ratings killer, then I can't imagine how dead in the water we would be with Magnum Carter as our world champion. Jesus.
Well, he's here. Like I said, he's here November 30th. And he's going to talk about that. If he wins.
Yeah, and he'll be a loser November 30th.
Well, he's going to talk about it. He has requested a microphone without winning or losing. He will be here. He will be here at his monthly spot, and he is now given himself a monthly spot. How does that make you feel? He has given himself a monthly spot on Sportswire.
Good for him. He's got to feel important somehow.
So you feel that he's not going to have much to talk about then in the third, other than taking a big fat L, is what you're saying. That'll be the headline.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, because at this rate, Tom, at this rate, and let's get shooty. Let's give people that spicy air and blaze, because I'm just gonna say it while it's fresh on my mind. I am so sick to death of all these knuckle dragging, talentless fucking idiots who think that they are at the top of the mountain and that they've climbed the stairwell, and you're not even good enough to get first class access to the exclusive elevator. You and your accomplishments and the things you say and the things you believe hold just as much value as the shit that my cats leave behind. Because while I was gone, I've noticed one common factor with a handful of these guys and Magnum Carter and all these other jackoffs is that not a single one of them have the mentality that I have to be the best. They don't have that kill or be killed mindset. They don't have that dog eat dog world. They're not willing to go the extra mile and above and beyond, even when they're not able to do so. And it carries onto this platform, and you can tell with the 30 views that they get compared to my 200, and all these people that claim to be goats, but they oh my god, they do all these promo groups and can't cut a promo, and you got all these other people that can't even bother to put together a half decent looking show, and they're throwing Mario punches, and they can't lock up, they can't tell the difference between a wrist lock and wrist watch. These are the people that I have paved the way for. These are the people who I want to take over the world when I decide I'm done with backyard and underground wrestling. And not a single one of them take it seriously enough, and they just play pretend, and they play wrestler, and they think just by showing up and performing half-assed that they think that they've reached their full potential. What you see here is not a gimmick. I believe I am the headline and the main event. Why? Because I have been for nearly 8 to 10 fucking years. And I continue to do so, no matter what shortcomings I have, no matter what state it's in, no matter who likes me, no matter who doesn't like me. I do not give a shit at this point, because you're gonna watch me at the end of the day. And I know what it takes to be a top dog and not half-ass it. And that's my problem with a lot of these people in this community. They're too worried about this, this, and this, and they have nothing to show for it.
Are you saying
Nothing
Magnum
at all.
Carter? Are you saying that's Magnum Carter? Because that's
Yes.
who you're up next against. I can't speak on other people, but Magnum Carter is your opponent coming up.
And it's clear from his actions, and it's clear from how he doesn't deliver. I'm not going to say delivers because he hasn't been. Magnum Carter is not on my level and has clearly been riding my coattails to be world champion. And it is failing spectacularly.
So he's a hanger then.
It's as successful as my last relationship, Tom. Up in smoke. Set
Well, I can't
ablaze.
comment on people's
Highly
relationships.
irrelevant. Irrelevant.
Well, I can't comment on those things.
I can comment on it.
Well, you can
The
if you'd
same way
like.
I can comment on Magnum Carter's relationship to the fans. Non-existent.
So it was all an act then. He was the role model of BYW. He's now Dark Model 1. What do you think about that? Him being Dark Model 1?
Dark model. Can you model up having a half decent match? Can you model up getting the job done? Can you model up a better look? Can you model up having better strikes? Can you model up not cracking jokes every 5 minutes because that's all you're good for on the shtick? Can you model that up instead of changing your ideologies more than I change my goddamn theme song? Can you model that? Because from what it looks like, he can't. And that's exactly why I'm going to win November 30th. Because I'm sick to death of these overgrown fucking children thinking that they are resting higher on top of the mountaintop than I am when I'm the one that laid the foundation for it more than they do.
Well, let me ask you one question though on YBW. We'll get to the chat before we sign off, but don't you think that this almost more than now friendly fire between you and Magnum Carter only benefits Dominic going into this? Because now that it's gotten the way it's gotten between you and Magnum Carter, I would have to think this benefits Dominic, the incumbent, once again to continue his run. Because instead of, well, okay, Golden Guns, we know you guys are friends. We know you guys are united. Originally, regardless of whatever was said tonight or on Sunday's show, there was that common thing that brought you together that was Dominic. Now, because of what you feel and what you've told us alongside his comments on Sunday, doesn't this benefit Dominic going into Revelation 6? Because he's the incumbent. You and Carter are now firing at each other before you even get in the ring. And no matter what happens, this has to benefit Dominic to some extent. And both of you don't want that regardless.
It doesn't benefit him. Because he still has to come with the reality. He's in a one-on-one match in the main event, and there's no reality. No one's getting involved. It is absolutely complete anarchy. Balls to the walls. He's not going to have an escape. He still has to defend. He still has to have his mandatory title defense. And he knows deep down in his heart, it's going to be me. Because unless he takes me out before the show, he's screwed. Dominic has to pray that somehow Magnum Carter beats me, which we all know isn't going to happen, because when it boils down to it, when I am at my best, even when I'm not 100%, Magnum Carter can't beat me.
But if Carter somehow, and again, I know we're going to be here.
Yeah, hypothetically, let's say Magnum Carter wins. I slip on a banana peel and he rolls me up because he can't really do anything with real damage, and we know he's not really going to attack my knee because he's all talk, all bark, no bite. Let's say that happens, right? YBW might as well be dead.
Well, he said on here that the victory over ATK, when I asked him, because of where he is at this moment right now, was the biggest win of his career. He's using that as momentum. He's using that victory over ATK to ride into Anarchy Sanctum 5. And if he beats you, and he's going to feel he's got even more momentum, and that's going to be his path that he's going to talk about on here, And I want to let you know, Dominic is going to be on here before November 30th, because Dominic, he wants to be celebrated. Dominic wants to be remembered for his legacy, because Dominic does believe in the history books that he is one of the greatest champions of all time. Dominic will be here because he believes that it's time for him to be honored. And this is only, I am sure, going to fuel the conversation between you and the MC of the 1-2-3. But I mean, that's where we're going into on this final stop to Revelation 6.
Oh God, I'm never gonna hear the end of this, am I? Jesus
Dominic,
Christ.
it's gonna be there's gonna be a Dominic celebration on here for Dominic's amazing run as champion. I mean, he won.
We're gonna get 2 views on Sportswire, ladies and gentlemen. Woo!
If you're Zilla and someone else, thank you for tuning in already.
Yeah,
But
more than likely it will be me on the YBW account. But all jokes aside, even though I'm not joking, my God, we're so fucked.
well, we'll get to some more comments while you read this off here. Yes, please follow YBW. Also,
God.
I've heard it all before. You won't say anything new when we do. It's he spelled it wrong, but I'll do it for him. Answer your question with another question, and you can call me fill in the blanks. Go to YBW's Instagram page, support them. Also, I wonder if somebody and those fill in the blanks.
Who?
I do want to say hello to Riley Bates, but he doesn't want to say hello to you. But he will be in the ring coming up this Friday as well. He'll be against the Alpha, and he'll be putting up his championship, and the Alpha will be putting up his championship. Magnum Carter, I don't know what he's laughing at. I hope I'm not one of those people you're worried about. Hello to Riley. Definitely our friend Riley Bates, but also please go sub to YBW. And okay, Guy is talking like he's preaching to a congregation. Buddy, the only audience you attract is the ones who are on their knees. We'll fill in the rest of the blanks. We only honor the great Tom.
Pause for a second, because I'm not going to take this from the guy that originated the idea of crippling their knees because they can't put them down correctly in a match. You're watching, though. That's the difference between me and Magnum Carter, and this once again proves my point. Y'all watch me, not the other way around. And again, this is a shoot. I don't watch half of what you fucking morons say and do because it puts me to sleep. When I get the notifications from Tom's account, I literally hide them because I already know what everyone's going to say. Absolutely nothing of importance. Nothing, unless you count the guys over in God's country who need to talk about me and, pew 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 pew. Yeah, that's my point. The difference between me and Magnum Carter and what Magnum Carter represents: mediocrity. There's people actually watching me, Carter. That's why I'm gonna beat you November 30th and become world heavyweight champion.
I got the point, and we would certainly like to honor Brandon, and we'd like to. I think I had mentioned that Brandon will be back on here very soon, so hopefully we can have a chance to honor Brandon as well. And I would like to add before we move on here, I would hope everyone honors me in following Miss Lorraine Lewis. She was my guest that got us in the news, the real news. So
I saw that. That was awesome.
Yeah. She got us. I was in blabbermouth.net. We had got like a lot of views. Let's just put it that way. But thank you, Miss Lorraine. But we appreciate everybody here, no matter how many views. And Mr. Carter wanted to say you have 7 people on right now. Wow.
You were more than you.
You were at 12, by the way. You were at 12. But thank you, man. All right. So I got the point. And we can do another interview when DBW is getting ready closer to return. We can definitely do that. And so I'm excited
about that. You said something about momentum. Sorry.
Yes, dude.
Yeah, he's carrying 1 win over ATK as momentum. That's cool. I'm carrying 4 years of being pissed off and fed up.
And giving up the hardcore championship because of your injury. So you had that championship, which we could look back and say, maybe you would still have that title. I mean, that was 3 months ago. So if you look back in the annals of time, that was a championship. And you gave the title to the MC of the 1-2-3. And well, he didn't drop bars. He dropped the ball because I mean, he'll talk, but he is going to talk about his momentum November 30th. And he is very pumped up. He's fired up about that appearance. And I'm looking forward to seeing the MC of the 1-2-3. And he'll definitely drop some bars. And I like him no matter how many views. And I like everybody here in the chat, no matter how many views you get, because really, compared to Lorraine Lewis, we don't get as many views because she has just check out her Instagram page. Yeah, we'll just look at her Instagram. But all right, so I got the point. You got to get going because you're a busy man. Anything else you want to say before closing? Let's obviously look. We talked a little about DBW. That's coming closer down the pike. We've talked a lot tonight about the Golden Guns and what it is. So I ask you then this last question. Are the Golden Guns still a team?
Were we even a team to begin with?
He said yes. That's what I'm confused about. He said despite everything he said 2 days ago, and that's my last question tonight. He said yes. You guys are still a team.
You know, Tom, the only T that I care about right now in regards to YBW and kind of wrestling altogether, since I'm such a politician, is titles. But one in particular, my world championship, the YBW World Heavyweight Championship, rewriting history and becoming an 8-time trailblazer. Are the Golden Guns still a thing, Tom? I'll answer that for you. No. No, they're not.
No! Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. The Golden Guns have imploded. The Golden Guns no more. All guns blazing? Nope. Ladies and gentlemen, shots have been fired. Bang, bang on Sportswire Radio. Because the headline is this, Aaron Blaze, is that he and Magnum Carter, the MC of the 1, 2, 3, after the bars that were dropped tonight in prime time, no mas, no more. That's what I learned, and that's why I'm very excited about November 30th, Anarchy Sanctum 5, that last stop to Revelation 6, that last stop to see who will square off with the YBW champion Dominic, who will be on Sportswire Radio before November 30th to celebrate and honor his legacy as the YBW champion. Dominic will be here, and Dominic will hold court, and we will celebrate that a same place, same time, same back channel type of thing. We'll give you the announcement then. And also, don't like that partner. There's no I on team, I in team.
Well, hey, Mr. Identity Crisis is having such a hard time trying to figure out his life. Let me figure it out for him, because I am moving forward with mine, and I am heading to December 28th to rewrite history and make history all at the same time. 19-time BYW World Champion, whatever accolade it is, but at the end of the day, it's 8-time Trailblazer.
All right, so you know what? I've heard enough, and I think I've got the point, and I'm sure we'll get into this in a few weeks. But I'm going to pass the baton to you. I'm going to give you some closing thoughts. I'm going to put up YBW's Instagram page here one more time, and anything else you want to plug, share, or say, take it away. And
I got a lot to say as always, but I'll try and keep it short. I'll try.
No, you're Aaron Blaze.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'll try and do it in half the time that certain people like to do promo groups in their little enterprise. For those of you who are watching live or later, who don't like me, I hope I've pissed you off, because a lot of you have been pissing me off. To the people that support me and love me and support me, thank you so much. I appreciate your loyalty, and I appreciate your passion for what I love to do for a living. For the people that love and support YBW, get ready for a huge paradigm shift. For the people that support Tom and Sportswire, continue to do it, because it's only going to get bigger and better than it's ever been before each and every single day, because this is the #1 platform where all music and wrestling matters in prime time in the brightest lights. And November 30th, Carter, all anyone is going to call you is the perfect model for losing to me.
Ooh, I tell you what, he's here November 30th. He's here right after the fallout from Anarchy Sanctum 5, and I'll be
Gloves
very...
Gloves are off, and I won't hesitate to fire that burning bullet.
There you go. But no, definitely please support YBW. Follow him on Instagram, YouTube. Holidays are coming. Buy some merchandise. TeePublic has a bunch of promotions. Patreon. I'm on the Patreon page. You should too. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. They're all out there.
I should double check that. You being on the Patreon page.
Oh, I think I think I've subscribed to Patreon.
I'll double check.
I get the emails. I got the email like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. I'll look back at
I
it
think I
again.
did. I know I saw something from you 2 weeks ago. But I'll check it. But nevertheless, yeah, let me know anyway. Do let me know. Confirm that for me. And hypothetically, if I lose, I'm just copying you. Well, I mean, you said the complete opposite tonight, but listen, I definitely want people, regardless, to support YBW, and I'm excited because, like I said, we have a lot of coverage. Dominic will be on here, and thank you for the
Sorry,
intro.
there's a little cramp in here.
Well, I'm gonna leave. I got that reference, but I do appreciate you. The number one thing, because I had a wrestler, Day Jameson, on Facebook Live actually attempt to do the intro. You didn't have to do the screaming part. Day actually did. He was driving to a show, and he actually did that. But we'll leave that at that.
That's right.
It was funny. Yeah, Day is an interesting guy, kind of like you, maybe a few years older than you. But yeah, just who knows? Maybe you'll go to the Indies too and wrestle KJ or so. You never know. That's who he wrestled not too long ago. But leave that at that. We want to thank Aaron, and also we'll give him this certificate when we're off the air. Congratulations to you, my friend. Thank you very much. Another lively conversation. I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about in a few weeks. And thank you, everybody. And yeah, Sean Jovi will kind of, I'm sure, have this same conversation on Thursday, because a lot of people are going to be kind of in the same lane, but a slightly different twist. And that'll be one conversation people are looking forward to. And yes, he is a fun guy. And yeah, he's a guy that goes back to the GBYWN. There you go.
Yes,
So
sir.
he's definitely an interesting
Hello,
man.
world, indeed.
Yep, and everybody, you never know who can connect out there. And Mr. Castelli will be on here, and maybe even a Heartless Sheriff. But my friend, thank you so much, as always. A very lively conversation. I got some of the shots. I got plenty of those references, and well, in the meantime, move away from that. We'll stay out of the crossfire. But Aaron Blaze sets the world afire, and that's what he does best. He is the owner of YBW. You also see him coming up in DBW, and you'll see him in the ring for YBW November 30th, as he's made his long-awaited return here, which he did at the historic YBW Breakdown 7. Will be in the ring coming up at Anarchy Sanctum 5 in a match to determine who will square off with the YBW champion Dominic against the MC of the 1-2-3 Magnum Carter. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, with all music and wrestling rounds, and I'll be here Thursday night about 9 o'clock Eastern time with Sean Jovi. So you'll definitely want to tune into that. And until then, hit the sub button for YBW, DBW. Check out Aaron Blaze on social media. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the number one Global Radio, the Sportswire Radio, where all music and wrestling matters. Have a great night, everybody.